Hello and welcome to the class. My name is Abraham Feinberg. You can also just call me Abe. In terms of what should you call me if you send me an email, you can call me Abraham, you can call me Abe, you can call me Mr. Feinberg. Any of those things is absolutely fine. In this video, I want to welcome you to the class and also tell you just a couple things about how I approach the class. The first thing, the number one thing that I want you to know in this class, number one, is that, how should I put this? I am here for you. Maybe that sounds a little cheesy, but I really do want you to view me as a resource. So this is often seen as a sort of difficult, boring, challenging, painful class for students to go through. My hope is that I can turn that around and make it interesting and useful to you. But of course, for that to happen, I need to know when things are or aren't working for you. So mostly what I'm trying to say is that please let me know how the class is going for you. Let me know whether an assignment or a test or some practice activity that I've given you seems to be helping, or if something is confusing to you. And I'll try to come up with new ways of explaining it, new activities for you to do to practice and master the concepts. The second thing that I want you to know, number two here, is your brain is plastic. And by this, I don't mean plastic as in the things that we make out of plastic. Both the word originally comes from a Greek root meaning changeable or moldable. So your brain is changeable. And this is something that neuroscientists and psychologists have been researching over the last few decades, and they found that the human brain, even as adults, is far more changeable than we ever thought it was. That what you think and the practice exercises and activities that you give your brain are capable of very significantly changing your brain. So the reason I'm telling you this is because this has a lot to do with the philosophy that I take when teaching, the way that I approach the class. And the key thing is that I'm trying to tell you is I don't expect any student to come into the class with some innate giftedness that just makes them really good at understanding the subject. Nobody is going to have an understanding of it right away. Sure, some of you may come at it, things being a little easier to begin with. Some of you may find it harder. I really don't judge you based on that, and I don't really care based on that because the research on this subject says people get to be amazing at things. People get to master a subject and really own it, not because they were innately gifted to begin with. That can possibly help to some extent, but the biggest predictor, all the research is saying that the biggest predictor of your long-term success, of your ability to master and excel in a subject, whatever it is, the biggest predictor of that is how good your practice is in that subject. Do you have a good teacher or coach who is helping to explain things, give you pointers, help you when you're stuck? And are you putting in a strong effort to practice that? Do you have good practice exercises to practice with? All of these sorts of factors have a much, much more important impact than whether you have a slight edge over it in terms of your innate talent for the subject when you begin. So what that means is, as you're going through the course, if you find that you're struggling with something, if you find that your brain hurts a bit, that it doesn't come easily to you, that this makes you feel fuzzy-headed and it's difficult, that's to be expected. That's actually often a sign that you are doing the hard work necessary to really master the concepts. And so I don't want you to take that as a bad sign and think, oh, I'm just no good at this. Science is just not for me. I'm not a science person. I don't have a sciencey enough brain for it, and give up. That's the opposite of what I want you to do. I want you to see it as this is something that will probably be challenging, but is something that I can master through the right approach, the right explanations, right practice activities, and something that will be useful if I master it. And that is my biggest hope for you as you go through the class, is that you do actually come to see this. I know it's just a required course for everyone who's going to be a psych major, and so it's often just seen as an obstacle, something that's getting in your way. But my biggest hope would be that I'm able to actually provide you with some useful tools, some useful skills and ways of thinking that will help you both in psychology and in your life more generally. So with that in mind, we're ready to dig into the material of the class, and I hope that you find it useful.